Estamos aí chegando quase ao final, né? Algumas apresentações para a gente finalizar esse Dairy Vision. Quem vai falar agora vai ser um espanhol, Jaime Martin, fundador e CEO da Lantern, que é uma consultoria em estratégia e inovação, palestrante internacional. E ele vai falar sobre inovação além do core, né? Então, como a gente consegue destravar essa inovação além do core, quais são as oportunidades do novo normal, o que é esse novo normal. Então, mais uma apresentação que vai trazer insights para a gente, né? Uma nova forma de pensar e de ver esse novo normal e as oportunidades.
Okay, so we are recording for the Dairy Vision Congress 2020. This is Jaime Martin from Lantern. I'm going to share my screen right now so we can see the presentation. So hello, good morning everyone. Bom dia, boa tarde. É um prazer estar aqui no Congresso Dairy Vision da 2020. Eu sou Jaime Martin, CEO and founder da consultora de estratégia e de inovação Lantern. E hoje eu vou falar um bocadinho sobre oportunidades de inovação na indústria láctea. Vou fazer a minha apresentação em inglês, mas eu queria saudar todos vocês e todas vocês. Okay, so when we talk about innovation in the dairy industry, this is always the first word that comes to our mind in Lantern is the word challenge. Okay, we're talking about an industry that has an extremely high penetration in households all over the world in different formats, in different products. An industry that has been in the epicenter of controversy and debates over the last few years as consumers move away from the category for different reasons, mostly perceptions that probably are not correct, but we have to accept them, they are there. And an industry that has huge implications in terms of how we manage rural and production capabilities all over our countries, okay? These are not just factories, these are the lives of many farmers that are behind the industry too, so with big implications. So when we see innovation opportunities, and I'm going to go straight into this because we don't have all that much time, we see 4 areas where a lot have been said and talked, and we just wanted to show some of our thinking behind these opportunities and share them with you. We see 4 opportunities for dairy industry. One, obviously, is a plant-based boom, okay? Number 2, better for me or better for you products. There is a huge trend towards taking a proactive stance for our health and the health of our families, and dairy products have a big opportunity here. The growth of snacking, this is a humongous opportunity that not many dairy companies are tackling correctly, and we think there are some interesting products that we will share with you. And finally, what we call Cheese 2.0, which is rethinking cheese outside of the box, outside of traditional formats and traditional channels. Talking about plant-based boom, okay, and nothing new, this category has been here for quite a few years right now, but some highlights that we need to understand. First, this plant-based movement, which obviously has an impact not only on the dairy industry, but also in many other categories. It's probably one of the biggest food realities, not even a trend, it's a reality all over the world, okay? Something of the biggest, probably in decades, there hasn't been anything like this. And this is going to continue growing over years. My company, Lantern, we are based in Madrid, but we have operations in Lisbon, Barcelona, and we work with international companies all over the world. But here's some data, in particularly in our home country, in Spain, where you can see the importance of the veggie phenomenon. You know, 9.9%, basically 10% of adult population in Spain consider themselves as veggies, which is the sum of vegans, vegetarians, and flexitarians. We're talking almost 4 million people. This is not a small market. This is an important market. And this is going to go, this is going to grow. Okay, this trend, which we can see in Europe, in the US, in Latin America, this is just going to grow because consumers are, for different reasons, they are adopting plant-based diets or they're reducing animal protein, either for sustainability, for health reasons, or just for ethical reasons in terms of animal welfare. This is a very ideological, this is a very entrenched, especially in younger consumers, but not only. And for that reason, we see the plant-based movement as an opportunity that is going to grow going forward. The first generation of plant-based products, here you have some examples where obviously, you know, just substitutes of milk, either the so-called oat-based drinks or soja-based drinks or rice, you mentioned it, okay? So this first generation has been growing all over the years, and we have seen a spectacular growth, double-digit growth in the last few years. So the next expansion that you can take plant-based drinks, dairy substitutes, is just going to another channels. Okay, so you have the entire food service or out-of-home channel, which is suffering quite a bit with pandemic times, so it will recover. And just thinking how we can get into our products next to where consumers are when they go to a coffee house. So, you know, taking barista editions is another opportunity. Another opportunity would be mixing, you know, real dairy, real milk with plant-based drinks. This is some interesting category. We have some questions whether this will really fly out because you're just mixing two worlds. But there are probably some niche consumers which can be attracted to this. Of course, other than milk, you know, many companies have stepped into the yogurt category. And here, there are some mixed results. Some countries are seeing important growth in the yogurt space, the plant-based yogurt. In other categories, the results are a bit more modest. And the reason for this is that as you move into categories where the main driver is not just getting nutrition, like it can be milk, right? It's mostly a nutrition-based kind of business. And you move into categories where the main driver is pleasure and indulgence, then it's getting harder and harder to attract and retain consumers. And yogurt is one of those. Another way to innovate outside in the plant-based is going into cheese. And here you have you know, there are very many interesting cheese startups in the plant-based arena. This is one from Germany, and we have tried many of them. We're not very excited about the organoleptic results that the plant-based cheese industry is doing. Replicating the cheese textures, flavors, aromas, and sensorial profile is quite complicated, and there might be opportunities further down the road, but I think technology needs to be added into this. The next frontier could be ice cream. These are just some of the main plant-based ice creams you can find in Spain. As you can see, it's a category that is quite crowded right now, even though the penetration in major supermarkets is still low. We have multinationals like the Ben & Jerry's or the Danone with Alpro, and then, you know, zillions of startups. So when we talk about ice cream, as opposed to cheese, where we are a bit more skeptical, in ice cream, we are more optimistic because there are extremely good plant-based ice creams in the market, which have done a phenomenal job in taking dairy out of the equation and replicating textures, flavors, and sensorial profile. This pink albatross, which is a brand based of Madrid, is one of the best plant-based ice creams in the market, and they have a phenomenal mango flavor, which you can beat just any dairy ice cream out of the way. I mean, quite frankly, they have done a phenomenal job. So here it's just a question of how they are going to attract new consumers, not just vegans, which are their natural target market, but also more mainstream conscious consumers that want to try new kind of products. They're attracted by the sustainability component of plant-based products and so forth. One last reflection about the plant-based opportunity. Oatly, who doesn't know Oatly? The big plant-based drink made out of oats. I think this is very important because these brands, they are acting as challengers. And I think there's a lot to learn about these brands. They are very bold. They have a self-deprecating style of sense of humor. They have an extraordinary capability of reaching out consumers in a tone of voice and a brand that really connects very well with new generations and not so new. And I think the dairy industry has an opportunity to to marketing, and they can learn out of these challenger brands to really reposition themselves as a more attractive and sexy category, which today it's quite frankly, it's not that sexy. Oatly, they use sense of humor. They have incredible creative talent inside of their company. As a matter of fact, they have built an internal marketing and advertising agency in-house because it's very core to their business. Now here you have some examples of how they populate urban settings with their messages, and there are messages that are geared not only for vegans but also just for regular mainstream consumers. And this has achieved phenomenal growth in the category, not just milk but also yogurts and ice cream. And I think this brand and others like this, they will continue growing. And there's a lot of things to learn from them. Even their CEO, here you have Tony Peterson, I think that's his name. He has a phenomenal YouTube performance where he sings the virtues of Oatly as a product surrounded in natural landscape of an oat field. And it's also very important how do you humanize brands. You give them a real face, and all of a sudden the connection with consumers, it's much easier than just brands that are opaque and more industrial kind of brands. Another of the opportunities are better for me products, okay? Obviously, some years ago, we saw many products with a lot of additions to reduce cholesterol, omega-3, extra vitamins, etc. I think consumers are moving away from these kind of products into products that are more curative towards preventive. That would be the approach. And here we see a huge opportunity in probiotics, and the entire field of scientific research that is being done around the gut microbiota, I think will open a lot of opportunities for the dairy industry. And this has been work, okay? We have a lot of products that can help us boost our immune system. And I think, especially now in pandemic times, there's a higher concern to take care of our immune system, and products like kefir or kombucha or yogurt are phenomenally positioned to capitalize on this trend. These are some of the launches that we have been seeing in Spain. We did not have kefir in Spain, I would say 5-6 years ago, other than in very niche retail stores. And now you can find it basically everywhere. It's a growing category. It's been a phenomenal success, and not just in Spain. Lifeway, they sell close to $100 million in the US. This is the leading US kefir brand. Very successful also in other parts of the world. And talking about probiotics and Chobani, very interesting proposition. How having a very strong brand like Chobani, they decided to go into the probiotic market with a non-dairy product. Just basically you have the formula on the screen. It's a carbonated water oat blend. and some juice from different fruits with addition of probiotic bacteria. Very interesting move from Chobani that understand that you need, lighter drinks that can be consumed, because dairy sometimes is not, very well positioned for that refreshing need state that consumers have. So also very interesting opportunity here. And the other opportunity that we see in this Better For You platform is the eco bio organic milk. Okay. Especially in Europe, this is a tremendous opportunity. A lot of countries are investing in growing their organic categories. In some markets, well, it's a 40 billion market, by the way, adding up all the categories, not just dairy, okay? But in many countries, especially the Nordics and north of Europe, the penetration or the market share of organic is around 10%, which is a very substantial part of the market and with high growth rates. Some data: Germany, milk is about 8.7 or 9% volume market share. Southern countries, this has not been developed as much, probably because from the supply standpoint, there's not enough supply. 1.6% volume share of organic milk in Spain. We believe this is an opportunity. Consumers want products that are certified organic because of the health halo that these organic products have. And the trend will go forward because a lot of the high growth retailers in Europe, but also in other markets like the German retailers, Lidl or Aldi, or even Carrefour with their bio stores, they are actively pushing the organic products in terms of increased value and retain consumers' preferences. Another of the opportunities that we see is the growth of the snack. Snacking has been traditionally very far away from the dairy industry other than yogurt. And snacking is a humongous billionaire opportunity. For $540 billion is the entire snacking global market size. So it's not a small market size, something that any dairy should have innovation teams looking very carefully. A category that, depending how you cut it, but it has very interesting growth rates, higher than just regular food categories, okay, over 4 or 5%, which in mature markets like Western Europe or US, it's very considerable. And something that we need to remember: consumers snack everywhere. This is not just for on the go moment. This is not just I go to the office and I take a snack. No. Most of the snacking occurs at home. These are data from Intel that tell us that the biggest part of snacking consumption occurs at home. So the home is a territory that is very natural for dairy companies and therefore should not be overlooked. The trend that is going to go even higher. People are fragmenting meals along the way. Many nutritionists are recommending us to take 5 intakes of food along the day, and snacking is just helping us to cope with this recommendation. And even in pandemic times, we're doing a lot of teleworking, and snacking is just going up the roof. So different opportunities to see snacking from the dairy industry. Let's look at different need states. There's one need state that is pure pleasure and enjoyment, the Clio brand, which are snackable portions of Greek yogurt that sell in the chill aisle. It's a very interesting brand out of the US, which tries to compete against other desserts in the chill aisle from a better for you standpoint, because the calories are controlled, it's pressable, it's very tasty, very good. So there is an opportunity. Another opportunity is snacking in between meals. So I need something quick because I need to go, I need some energy, and here you have from dips, from little cheese bites, even for kids. Okay, how do you make this snackable cheese in a way? Or even, this night food brand that sells high protein ice cream. So for that craving before going to bed, and so you don't feel so bad, has a high component protein. We also snack before going to bed. You know, the snacking is not, it's not only in the mornings or in the afternoon. And the last platform, Cheese 2.0, is, okay, can we think, how do we make cheese, you know, a more modern and contemporary category, as opposed to, you know, traditional cheese makers, you know, very, very kind of conservative and very old style kind of category. And here there's some interesting propositions. First, how do we make this more snackable? Okay, how can we bring this product when we watch a soccer game, a football game, so people can take little bites of cheese? Okay, these Roquefort cheese melts or Gouda cheese melts, I can see them, and you know, I just feel I need to open the box and have one. It has incredible look and feel. Moon cheese, there are new technologies of doing puff cheese balls, which are, you know, available right now, and it can bring cheese into new moments of consumption. We can take them even into ambient shelves, and there's really an opportunity here to open up the opportunities. We can start imagining cheese being mixed with flour. Imagine the brand PepsiCo, the big multinational companies behind this startup. They are basically little cookies with a big component of cheese, but also, like I said, flour. And these are basically designed to mix the yogurt or the cheese for little kids. So they have a healthier snacking option as opposed to, you know, traditional chocolate bars or you name it. And we also are big believers in you know, cottage cheese or ricotta cheese that can be put in a cup, that can be taken to the office, or you just eat it, you know, along the way when you're in a rush. There are lighter versions of cheese, you know, healthier, you know, with high protein, lower fat. And here, different formats and different versions. Even the Riff Raff brand out of New York, where you can start having this cheese with not only with sweet flavors, which makes sense, but also with salty flavors like this sun-dried tomato, which I think is phenomenal. To summarize, 3 little tips for the dairy industry. One, invest in building your brand's equity and elasticity, because brands are the best passport for growth towards new categories. Dairy and non-dairy. Let's remember this example of Chobani launching non-dairy probiotic. They have a very strong brand, and they are entitled to go into this space because they have invested in their brand, their brand values. Make dairy-based products sexy again for younger consumers and the not so young, and how basically stopping thinking about incumbents, as we are the big industry and everyone is attacking us, and stop running old style kind of marketing. Let's be bold, let's be experimental, let's learn from challenger brands like Oatly or Notco or other plant-based brands. And let's start really having fun with dairy. Dairy is a phenomenal industry. A lot can be said about the virtues of this industry, with a lot of exciting marketing components and branding components, if they are rethought in a different manner than we have been doing in the last few decades. I'll be happy to answer any questions about this presentation. You have my email there, jaime.martin@lantern.es on our website if you want to check it out. And other than that, thank you very much for your time.